Hi, this is Aidan and Dan here, and we are going to show you how to record in your bedroom using pretty relatively cheap gear, or some of the lower end stuff that you can get, while still remaining quality and fidelity of audio recording.
Okay, so the first piece of gear that we've got on our list today of absolute essentials is a jack cable. Now, this will send signal from your instrument to whatever DI box you're using. In this case, we're using the Focusrite Solo. And especially for an electric guitar, it's essential for recording to bring the signal from one end to the other.
Another essential we have here today is the Focusrite Scarlett Solo. It has two adjustable gain knobs, a XLR port to plug in a microphone or anything that requires an XLR jack, a jack connector for a guitar cable or anything else that may require that, to switch between line and instrument controls the jack port. You have the monitor adjustment and a direct monitor off and on if you'd like to use this without a digital audio workstation. Okay,
so the next thing that you're going to need to make your recording life a lot easier is a pair of headphones. These are a pair of Beyerdynamic DT770 Pros. They are an 80 ohm headphone, which means you'll need something to drive them a bit more. So if you plug them into your iPhone, you get quite a low amount of volume on them because of the impedance, whereas if you plug them into the Focusrite, it'll have the appropriate amount of signal to actually drive the speakers inside of them, which is quite important.
This is an XLR cable. It's one of the final essentials we require today. It will take signal from your microphone to your audio interface, such as the Scarlett Solo we are using today. It's the most common interface port on a microphone, unless you were looking at microphones before 1970, in which case a lot of them use jack cables, such as the cable Dan showed off earlier. However, we don't recommend using vintage equipment to record in your bedroom, as it's very expensive and you can replicate the results with more modern and price-effective equipment. This is an SM7B. It's designed for vocal recording. It's heavily used in metal and alternative music genres. However, it can also capture beautiful highs of a female singer. So we would recommend the 7B for vocals. It is a dynamic. However, there are many condensers you can also buy for around a similar price. However, we believe the 7B is very beginner friendly. This is a microphone stand. It's a piece of recommended equipment. It allows to be adjusted and manipulated in many ways to aim the microphone where you would like. It also holds the microphone steady. We do not recommend holding the microphone for either a vocal or an instrument performance at all, as it will cause shaking, which will cause gain changes in the audio. Currently on screen we have a 2017 MacBook Pro. It's running Logic Pro X 10.6.1. This is the digital audio workstation we'll be using. Me and Dan both recommend Logic as it's user-friendly and easy for beginners. This version of MacBook only has USB-C ports, and the version of the Scarlett Solo we own does not contain a USB-C connection. So the first step is to plug a dongle into the MacBook. Anything which contains a USB 3 port will be perfect for this. You can purchase them on Amazon or eBay. The next step is to take the USB connection of the Scarlett and plug it into the USB hub. The next step for vocal recording is to take the male end of the XLR and place it into the female end of the Focusrite audio interface. The next step is to take the female end of the XLR and plug it into the male end, which is connected to the microphone. Dan is set up to both record vocals and guitar at the same time, as we believe this is what it would be like set up in a bedroom if he was to record his own music. The next step is to delete any channels that are currently on your project, at which point you'll be greeted with a prompt which asks you if it's an audio, a software instrument, a drummer, an external MIDI device, or a guitar or bass. We recommend you always use an audio, as even if it is a guitar or bass, it will create a pre-constructed channel strip which may not be great for your project. You must select your input, so at this point we have the microphone plugged into input 1, so we will create this, and that will create us our microphone track. We will then do the same, however select input 2 to create the guitar track. The next step is to turn up the gain on the microphone until we see a green healthy signal. Dan will begin saying testing.
Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing,
and that's perfect. However, I would like to state that the SM7B is a very high driven microphone, so you would not usually be using this much gain on, say, a normal handheld dynamic microphone. However, we have had to turn it up pretty high to accommodate for the SM7B. A jack cable has dual male ends, so the first step is to take the male end of the jack cable and plug it into the female port located on the Focusrite Scarlett Solo. The next step is to plug in the other male end into the electric guitar. The next step is to arm both tracks for recording. You hit the record button on both. It is then important to test your levels via the two faders here. Dan, would you please begin playing in for us? As you can see, the level remains in the green and doesn't dip too low. This will provide a healthy signal and will be great for editing after the fact. Dan, could you say testing, please?
Testing, 1, 2.
We have a similar level on the vocals, which will also be great for editing and any processing we need to do after the fact. The next step, in order to hear yourself back when playing and singing, is to plug the male end of the headphone cable into the headphone port on the front of the Focusrite. You then move up to the MacBook and you hit the input monitoring switches, which allows anything said or played to be heard through the headphones.
I should have known I live alone. Just goes to show that the blood you bleed is just the blood you owe. We were a pair. I saw you there, too much to bear. You were my life, but life is far from fair. Was I stupid to love you? Was I reckless to help? Was it obvious to everybody else that I'd fallen for a lie? You were never on my side. Fool me once, fool me twice. Saw you never paradise. So I'll never see me cry. There's just no time to die. Faces from my past. time to die.